Go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RPGeeks episode 10. We are back with our unique combination of Dungeons and Dragons and science set in a sci-fi world. We are an actual play D&D show where we use real science or modern science, sort of hypothetically stretched, to explain all of the mechanics, character stats, shenanigans, various adventures from our sci-fi D&D campaign set in the distant future. So who are we? Well, I will begin. My name is Sharmini. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a science video maker, and I play Tenebris on the show. And if we're lucky, Tenebris will spend much of this episode conscious. Ooh.
No chance.
No. Simon?
Hello, I'm Simon. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Uriel, the monk, who has been conscious, but mostly beltless throughout this this adventure. Because the length of rope as my belt has been the most powerful character. If we could zoom in on that little belt, if you like, the party at 100% strength versus the party at 99% strength, and it's just the belt.
Just the belt.
And I am a professional science nerd. I do videos and streams and stuff like that. And that just leaves, in terms of the players, Emily Bates.
Hello, I'm Emily Bates. I use she, her pronouns, and I make science videos for a living somehow. And I am playing Infinite Sky 6000, who is a terraforming druid droid and has been, I think, awake for other than 4 hours of rebooting each time.
Has she ever been awake? What is the definition of awake?
Oh. Well, we'll get to that at some point, I think. At some point.
It's the definition is not asleep, right?
Exactly.
Is it?
But if she's incapable of sleep,
I don't know.
is that a useful description?
It doesn't have to be useful. It just has to be a word.
Anyway, I haven't gone unconscious yet. Touch wood. So that's
just
what
a
I'm
monster.
clinging
The
to.
only one.
The monster. Yeah, and hopefully long may it continue. And that just leaves our wonderful DM.
That's me. My name's Ali Jennings. I'm the DM. I'm wonderful. And I, too, am a science video maker, basically, at the moment. And when I'm not doing that, I basically sit in my house after my entire family has gone to bed and just think about things which could be sort of awesomely cool when set to sci-fi music. And that's it. Roll the intro.
Oh, God. We're rolling the intro. We're going in, folks. See you on the other side.
So, where were we? Well, I'll tell you where we were. Our party had been sent on a quest to find smugglers who had been taking some kind of ore from a mining colony. They had found a group of people who they thought were doing it deep in the mine beneath the mountain. They'd followed the trail. They'd run into a few fights. They'd had some dust-ups along the way, but they'd survived, and they'd made it to a camp on the outside, so underneath the ground, deep beneath the ground. They'd found this campsite, and on the other side, a huge, unearthly wall. Up against the wall, they found the person they were looking for, engaged in some sort of ritual. They fought. They failed to stop the ritual.
So close.
But they escaped as the whole room melted under the white-hot heat of the wall's awesome power, as something happened. They fled, but when they reached the pathway that they'd taken, they found that the pathway had fallen away, under the earth shaking as the wall was unleashing its power. They tried to climb along the wall, they failed again, and they fell into the blackness, eventually hitting water, and they just about managed to survive that. They were carried along the river, this underground river, until they met a race of seemingly fish people who they talked to and they tried to get some information out of with some success. They learnt some things about the genesis of this place before they were taken out again along the river and left in the forest, which had been outside the camp, which they'd seen once before.
A great deal of vertical distance was also travelled. I feel like you made that sound like it was a very non-traumatic kind of set of events.
It's fine.
It's true. There was a moment where you found yourselves exiting a cave above the tree line of some really tall trees, and then there was some falling time. But you were all fine with that. The fish people looked after you.
We were all fine with that.
We were all totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Sure about that.
I didn't hear any complaining.
Oh.
So, you find yourselves in the moonlight, lying sprawled on the soft, mossy edge of a forest pool. You can hear the constant booming of the waterfall hitting the plunge pool. The spray is cold on your cheeks, and you see the white light of the moon refracted in the mist. The moonlight mixes with the orange light of your little fire, reflected on the water's surface. You hear the singing of nighttime insects and the rustle of wind in the canopy of the towering trees that surround the glade. Somewhere, you hear the rasp of frogs singing. Looking down at the moss carpet, you see tiny yellow bell-cup flowers, bleached grey in the moonlight.
I believe Tenebris decided to go to sleep first, and so is therefore curled up as far away from the waterfall spray as possible. Still looking somewhat chilly, sort of hugged up. He's going to try and sleep.
Uriel, you should go to sleep too.
Hang on, I'm just trying to remember. So we already looked around the campsite, didn't we? That we.
You looked for an owl. I'm not sure what that.
No, I did. I think
I looked for it.
Yeah.
And Uriel looked for monsters. Maybe you were
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
very alarmed at this forest situation.
Strange new environment. I realised I didn't know what the etymology of owl was. I just looked it up. It's onomatopoeic. It's meant to try and imitate the sound of a call.
Oh, that's lovely.
I guess they sounded different back
Wrong,
then.
but lovely. Like,
Yeah, okay, and it's really old. It goes right back to Proto-Indo-European. Sorry, etymology corner is over. I bloody love etymology.
We love starting with etymology corner.
we do.
Yes, then Uriel will take the hint and presumably like processing everything that's just happened.
You sleep with your eyes open.
Oh, like Gandalf. No, I meant that he's sort of he's working through
right.
some shit that happened.
Okay.
If you could sleep with your eyes open, would you?
No. I like closing
do you
my
still
eyes.
see out of them?
Oh no, I'm thinking like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, like he sleeps, but like would put off anybody who comes into your room. Like if you were burgled.
I mean, you're never going to have
Simon
any more
is-
than a one night stand, aren't you?
Simon, you're just desperate for us not to play this adventure today.
No, sorry. My brain is sparking. It's been a hell of a month. It's only the 3rd.
Go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
While they're both
Uriel.
asleep, Infinity would like to try and scan for a satellite.
You reach out, Infinity, looking up at the stars, into the blackness of space, and try to feel your way into the the signals given off by the orbiting satellites of this world. Roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh, I don't know which dice to use. Okay, this one. I rolled a 2 again, so that's an 8.
It's the curse.
That's an 8.
It's the
Yeah.
curse.
It's a different
You
dice.
can, looking up, you can feel the presence of the satellites far, far, far above you. But you can't lock on to anyone's individual position, but you know that they're there.
Okay. She'll just keep an eye out and watch, and sort of stand over the two bodies, sort of in a kind of a creepy way, just like right in between them, like looking around,
Just standing.
just standing.
Oh my god, robots.
The firelight flickers and slowly dies, and you're left sat next to the two slowly rising and falling bodies of your companions in the cool darkness and shadow as the moon moves behind the trees, leaving you in almost blackness with just the sound of the waterfall next to you. The hours go by. Roll another perception check.
Natural 20.
That's a special 2.
It's a kind of a 2.
It's a
got
2
in
with
it
an
still,
extra
but we
number,
like
and
that
it makes
one.
it a lot better. 26.
26.
Whew.
You see
Sat
every...
there. Once the darkness has come and your eyes have adjusted to this almost complete shadow, you start to make out tiny movements in the forest. Flitter of wings, the occasional of frogs jumping in and out of the pool. So you see a frog, a flash of wings, and for a second you see an owl passing across the pool. But you also see, very faintly, the outline of something larger moving around the sides of the pool.
Is it the other side of the pool to where we are?
Yes, it's not coming round to your side. It seems to be waiting, almost, on the other side, behind the tree line.
Can I make out any kind of shape, or is it just sort of a general big thing?
You can make out the size, roughly. It's not as big as a human.
Not as big as a human. Okay.
It's not as big as... It's about the size of a large dog.
I think she'll get up and just walk and kind of try and get a bit closer and get a bit of look.
You hear just the slightest rustle. And then the shape is gone.
Okay. I'll go back and to the other two.
You go back to the moss. Neither have moved. They're both almost completely still, so exhausted by what's just happened to you. You see out the rest of your watch.
Question. When Tenebris is asleep, I think you've described it before, Sharmony. What does it look like?
Last time I think it was as you were going to sleep, and she was starting
When you were awake.
the watch, so
Okay.
it wasn't actually when she was asleep.
Got you. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll just sort of see out the rest of it, just sort of watching them, feeling pretty happy with my friends.
Your watch comes to an end, and you just start to see light beginning to edge its way over the tree line. Tenebris, you wake up. And
Did you sleep
Infinity...
well?
It is cold here. It is always cold here.
I don't know. Hopefully not. Do you want me to light the fire again before you go to sleep? Before I go to sleep?
Yes, please, fire, please. That was cool.
Okay. Are you okay if I recharge for a bit?
Yes, I will look out and if anything.
There was an owl and there were frogs and I think there was like a big dog or something. It was great.
That sounds great.
I didn't get a very good look at the dog, but
Oh, Tenebris is suddenly like looking around like, owls, yay, frogs, yay, big dog. Sure, okay. I'll maybe, if I see anything, maybe I'll just sort of wake you up, just in case.
yes, by all means.
Okay, right.
Good night.
Oh,
In one breath.
Did you sit down? Did you what?
I don't think she needs to sit down.
Just like a brick.
So
just like,
no, I think she's just standing, just like.
Oh, it's like when R2-D2 gets hit by the like Jawas.
With the same noise.
Or she just planks on the floor, just face down, just goes. Doo, doo.
Oh no! I think Tenebris is gonna like, sort of. Are you on the floor then?
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's on the floor, face down.
Just gonna like look and lean over Infinity's sort of.
And the screens are still on, but they're like a much like it's like a dark sky with just like little specks of stars and things, rather than the sort of bright, like more bluey sky that it normally is.
Canonically, how much mass does Infinity have?
We've said she's 200 pounds.
Okay, so it's not like incredibly dense.
No,
it's not like she'd
she's
leave
not.
a dent when you fall over like that.
No.
Okay.
You weigh more than the other two combined, though. That's correct.
The 200 pounds?
No, I think Uriel was. I shouldn't have a look at my character sheet.
Know what pounds are. What's that in kilograms?
2.2 pounds per kilogram. Uriel is about 84 kilos.
So probably not. Oh no, then no. So no.
Right.
Tenebris is gonna look at Infinity's weirdly rigid body for a while, sort of look nervously around the forest. Can I see anything?
Make a perception check.
Okay then. Ooh. 16.
16. With your dark vision, you can search between the trees. So even in this very low light, because with the very beginnings of sunlight starting to leach in, you can see further. You see huge pillars of these trees, massive, rising up and disappearing into the distance. It's difficult to see between them because they're so large they block your view. But what you can see, the occasional flutter of wings, and not much else.
After a while, Tenebris is going to sit down near the fire. She likes the warmth. And she is going to sort of mutter to herself, I don't know if we should have done that. And then she's gonna pull out from like a sort of flat pocket, just like a scrap of paper, like sort of folded up bits of paper, and a little pen, and just like just spend like a couple of minutes just sort of like scribbling in tiny writing on the paper, and then put it away again and keep watching.
This is by the light of the fire.
Yeah, just like peering, just tiny.
Great. As you watch, there's the very slight sound of rain, just a light rain falling on the treetops above you. You can see dew starting to condense on the leaves nearest you, and the grey light of the early dawn starts to penetrate through the treetops. as you're watching Infinity, as soon as you power off, it's back. The greenness, the vision, the blurry scene almost that you saw before the last 2 times. The greenness of a forest, the sound of water, but almost turned up to 11, really saturated, this intense green colour. Uriel, you lie still, bathed by the numbers just washing over your body, the 1s and 0s. But you feel something in there, something strange in the tide of those numbers, something different that you've not felt before. And then, as the sun rises, and Tenebris, as you feel your eyes beginning to hurt, as you pull your glasses down over your face, Uriel and Infinity, you both wake, sat in the light of the sun next to this pool in the forest.
Morning.
Morning.
Everything okay, Tenebris?
I didn't see any dogs.
Oh,
I looked. Maybe they're sleeping.
maybe.
Infinity, do you know where we are? Have you got like a satellite uplink or anything?
Yes, we're on Braxigantu.
Yep. Was aware of that. More precisely.
Vow colony, the colony of, well, we're just outside actually. We're near the Mukinji Mountains.
Right. So we're still quite some way from getting off of this rock. Okay.
Hey, no,
Oh,
you
we
mean exactly?
Yes,
where we are.
precisely where are we?
I don't think I know that. Let me just check. Boop, beep, boop, boop.
This is you searching for another satellite uplink, is that right?
Yeah.
Just why not?
Yeah. You're real.
Okay. Great. Roll me another perception.
You don't
check.
ask, you
I've
don't
slept.
24.
24.
I'm not going to get the
That's a
satellite I
very
want now.
perceptive-
Where was this last week?
You got to meet a
You
fish
can't-
person. Be happy.
You can't see anything anymore in the sky. Up when it was starry, it was as though you could make out the individual sparks of light that were the satellites. Now, in the daylight, you don't see anything. But having slept, you allow yourself to feel out with your detectors of radiation. The sensors that cover your skin, which allow you to sense different kinds of communications, of radiation.
I have my antenna on my head as well. The ring that to try and pick things up.
You use that to focus these signals that you're getting, and you feel them rather than see them. You feel them dancing around in a slow waltz above your head. 3 satellites moving all as the corners of one triangle in a slow circle.
Am I able, with that, to try and get any kind of sense of... Is there any data coming from them that's going to allow me to say exactly where we are, for example, in relation to Val?
You can try and talk to them.
Can I? Okay. Don't know.
You're
I
about to
haven't
meet some
really-
Scottish satellites.
Haven't spoken to a satellite really for a long time. So, hello, satellites. This is Infinite Sky 6000, serial number 86919726, PMGB1530ML. Could you tell me where I am, please?
Great, it's a fish person satellite. I'll take that as a no.
What is
They
the
don't-
matter, Infinity?
They didn't send me any data back, so
Right, so we've got to work out where we are.
maybe I'm still faulty. Something's clearly wrong, so maybe I just can't. I can't talk to them anymore.
Well, I'm sure that we can fix that, but we've got to try and work out where we are so we can work out how to get to where we're going.
Hey, team. Job done.
He did
Job
say that
finished.
he wasn't going to smuggle anymore, you're right.
Yes.
And then he burnt into ashes.
So he is gone.
No more smuggling.
Oh, I have a question for both of you. When we were in the cave, were you both always in the cave?
Until we weren't anymore, yes.
We went in the cave and then we ran out of the cave very, very quickly.
Yes. And when we were running out of the cave, what did you see?
The wall was glowing and there was like a crack and then did you see that when the both of them and there was like fire and then they just became fire? Because just because it was so hot, because I was feeling it was very, very hot, and then they were fire and the scaffolding was fire, and I guess maybe the crystals burned. The crystals were fire.
Yeah, I didn't
And the
actually.
light.
I didn't see that. I was
You were running.
I was running. Yes.
Yes.
Did you see the mammoth?
I saw the mammoth wall of fire that was behind us.
Right. I think yes. I think I need to go see a mechanic. Really, I think I'm malfunctioning.
Well, we could do that if we can get you back to the mechanic over at Val. Then we should be able to get you seen to, and we can pick up. We were promised at least something.
And then we can get like references for future employments.
Is that what you want?
I think maybe it'll be easier to get future employment if you have letters saying Nebris did a very good job of the task. She's completed all her assigned tasks with enthusiasm and safety and being very nice. Which
You
is
nearly
one of her
died.
top skills.
You nearly died a lot.
But you didn't.
The next job will probably not involve so many freezing cold rivers. Probably, I think that would be ideal.
Want you to die, so
No,
I
I
don't think you should do jobs where you could
that
die.
is not. That is definitely not. I have not had great luck with my job history so far. So next time I will maybe research, roles and responsibilities and say, oh, does this job involve horrible pain? And then maybe not apply for it.
I think that sounds quite sensible, actually.
Yes.
Where do you see your adventure party in 5 years' time?
Does this involve? Excuse me. Will this quest involve horrible pain? If it will, I just don't think it's quite up our street.
Do you offer dental?
We do make a good team, though.
Like friends, like all friends together who like each other.
Yes, like friends.
Well,
Right, Uriel?
Right, Uriel?
yeah, we've been pretty, functional. We've achieved the goal. Now we've just got to, report back and get our promised reward, and then I can get off of this rock. So
Why do you want to leave?
Do you want to go to a different rock? Which rock? A better rock?
I've got to get back to where I came from. To be honest,
Where are you from?
doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Is it Vesper? Do you know Vesper? Are you from Vesper?
It's not Vesper. No, hang on, have I heard of Vesper?
Roll a history check.
I somehow doubt this.
I definitely haven't. So
Sorry, let me a pre-mat. Yeah, I get a 9.
No, this is alien to you.
No, never heard of Vesper. No, it's just off Martin's Bane. Actually, that's where
it's
I've
a
got.
different planet.
Yeah, well, it's not actually a planet. It's the shipyard around the planet that I've got to get back to. But I've just got to get off of here. This isn't where I belong, and I haven't got any reason to be here anymore. So, with the job done,
You came all this way to do this smuggling job?
Well, no, the smuggling job was because the other job sort of fell through. It doesn't matter.
What was the other job?
It doesn't matter. The important
You also
thing is,
have difficult employment history, I understand.
yeah, that's one way of putting it.
I guess I have quite a difficult employment history too, because I was sent here to do a job, and I don't know if I did it or not.
Well, you were sort of a self-employed contractor, weren't you? You kind of ran around and did terraforming stuff, right?
No, that's not quite how it worked.
Wait, do you have a boss? Is there a bigger Infinity?
I belong to TerraCorp.
TerraCorp.
Right.
Do I know that?
Is that a question?
Yes. No, sorry. Do I know that?
Roll a history check.
He's smiling a lot right now, and that
10.
scares me.
10. You have never heard of TerraCorp.
So is TerraCorp the name of is there a bigger robot? Is there like a Petacorp?
Oh, there are lots of robots. Some of them would be bigger, I assume.
Is your boss a robot, or is your boss like a company?
A company.
Like a farming company or a...
Yes, I don't think there. I
water
never met
company or-
a boss. I just, was switched on, and then off I went.
We've got to be pretty high up in the food chain in terms of, your capabilities are astonishing. You've got to be better than the organics at the corporation.
I
Surely.
didn't meet any organics. There were a lot of robots, though.
Robot company.
Yes,
Cool.
droids.
Do you think you'll be in trouble if you didn't do your job?
I don't know. We're normally just switched off after we do it. So I think maybe I did it, and then they switched me off, and then I've malfunctioned, so I've turned back on again.
Well, I'm glad you turned back on again. You don't want to be off.
Well, before I turned back on again, I didn't feel anything, so it didn't really matter. I just knew I had to do this. Whereas now everything's a bit weird, so...
Well, what
Okay,
do you
don't
want to do
be off.
now, then? If you've exceeded your programming, what's your purpose?
Well, that's what I don't know.
Right.
That is exciting.
It's quite exciting. I like you two quite a lot, so I think I'm just going to keep you safe, really.
Well, you'd be very welcome to come back with me to Martinsbane if you wanted.
Are there nice jobs for good people on Martin's Bay?
For good people, yes.
Nice people.
Not. I mean, how are you at sort of fabrication and welding?
Well, I don't do very well with metal.
Oh no, I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm not worried about you. So,
Well, I haven't really... I've driven a tractor.
a tractor.
Yes, it is made of metal. I guess maybe someone welded. It's... I don't know. I don't think I don't think I have experience with welding.
I'm not convinced that Martinsbane would be the place for you, to be honest. But for a being such as yourself, Infinity, I know I have a lot of people who would be very interested to meet you.
Well, I do think it makes sense that we all stick together. So if Tenebris wouldn't fit in there, then maybe we should go somewhere else.
Or there could be like training. Maybe there is a school for welding school.
I'm sure we could find a use for, fresh blood and new
blood.
materials to work with.
No, I would like a job that with the no blood is part of the job, please. No blood in the job.
Well, trust me,
No
where I'm
one's
from,
blood.
no blood being part of the job is exactly what we want, actually. So yeah, look,
I quite like blood.
we as a liminal space, why don't we aim to go back to Val, and then we can,
Okay.
formulate a plan. But we've got to work out where we are, and then work out where that is in relation to Val, and establish a translation.
Hang on. Where are the mountains? Can I just look at the mountains and try and work out roughly where we are by
There's a
the
waterfall
mountains I've seen?
coming out of them, so I guess
Yeah.
there.
I'm like, oh look, the mountain. Can I see if the shape is relevant to where are we the other side of the mountain?
East or west. Oh God, I hope not. Jeez.
Yeah, roll a survival check.
Oh my gosh.
That's a 19 plus 6 is
Oh,
25.
bloody hell!
This
Infinity.
is what I was built to do.
This is the terraforming droid.
This is what you were built to do. You kneel down on the thick moss and you look up and you allow the contours of the landscape to imprint themselves on your mind, and suddenly you can see them. You can visualize them as though they were a 3D map that you could toy with and play with. And you match your viewpoint to one particular position, and then you rotate, you think back, and you remember the view driving up towards the mountains, and you match that to another position, and you triangulate.
Like that scene in Blade Runner. This goes on for 15 minutes.
In heads.
You look up at the sun in the sky, just starting to break through the grey early morning clouds. A little bit to the right, as it just almost brushes the edge of a mountain. That's where you need to go. That's where the mine was. That's the direction you're headed.
Who needs satellites? Okay, we need to go this way. Come on. And I'll just start walking.
All right, okay.
And we
Do you have an estimated time of arrival?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It will take...
Running
Yeah.
the calculations in your head, you estimate that, barring any unforeseen events, you should make it back in about a day, walking fast.
About a day. At your speed, Uriel, you are the slowest of the three of us, so I took that into account.
Yes. I'm sorry. I can improve. It's a day. That's more than
No,
acceptable.
it's fine. It's not a problem.
Well, it sort of is really, but that's it's all fixable. It's all modular. We can deal with this.
You're only about... What's your speed, Tenebris? Just so I can get this.
normal 30.
You're only about 5 feet a second, or every 6 seconds slower than Tenebris. So 10 feet every 6 seconds slower than me. I've been noting it as we've been traveling.
Your
I'm not
average
sure
stride
that's
length is.
True.
That's right, isn't it?
I think as a monk, he may have.
No,
more speed
because I have a
now.
breastplate on because of the augments. I'm counting that as a breastplate.
Oh.
But I do think that breastplate is slowing you down, and potentially you could be quite a bit quicker, Uriel. Just if you wanted to be.
No, as in, he's not wearing it. I'm saying that is his chest, like because of all the augmentations.
I feel like your chest is slowing you down, Uriel. So
the number of times I've been told that.
same.
But to peek behind the sausage. Ali did talk to me about this. I'm gonna mix
We have a
our
new show
metaphors.
called Behind the Sausage.
We
Peek
should.
behind the sausage.
Peek behind the sausage.
I don't know. I just feel. I know it's not optimal, but like I feel like that's sort of a reasonable description of the character. He is a bit heavier and slower.
We love a non-optimal build.
To go for some
character.
D&D chat, I love that you've picked like a monk, the class that like does best like without any armor and heavy things and even like weapons sometimes, and you're like, yes, I am a cyborg, all metal all the time. Yeah,
I love it. It's
Well,
great.
the reason
So
that I went for monk was a sort of a chat of opportunity now. Was because of the key points and like the fact that that was similar to the idea of like an internal battery of energy of one form or another. So as you're upgrading, you're increasing the capacity of the battery, and you can do things
Oh, love.
with
That's great.
spurts of energy. That's why.
That's so good.
very cool.
Shall we
Right,
continue?
We're going to peek back in front of the sausage now.
Meanwhile, in front of the sausage. Yes, in front of the sausage, Infinity, you look out over this into this sea of trees, the path that you know you have to take to get back to Val. You stride out. The trees rise up around you, And once you're in, it's almost like almost all the noise is deadened. You smell the spicy scent of sap and pine. The ground feels spongy beneath your feet. A mat of loam and sprouts and fallen needles. As you walk, you look around you. These huge trees are red-brown conifers, thick as houses, and they're reaching out of sight above you. And now that you're among them, as you look up, it's almost as though they were holding up the sky itself. They're so tall. Around them cluster little saplings and emerald green ferns. And in the sunbeams that occasionally break the canopy, you see midges dancing and swirling. It's quiet here. So quiet you can hear the drip of the morning dew off the needles, the creak of bark when the wind blows. As you walk, you start to see that the forest floor, although relatively pristine, is in some places marked. That it's crisscrossed with paths of trodden down undergrowth. Some of them lead in the direction you want to go, some of them not.
Should we keep going in the way we should be going? That's weird, isn't it? I'll point to the floor.
I mean, I'm not totally comfortable being in this place, so I feel like the sooner we can get out, the better, to be honest. Is anybody else here feeling a bit weird?
I love this.
I like to be under the trees where it is less bright, with the sun. There's too much sun out here.
Why don't you like the sun?
Because it is too bright. It is too close. The optimal... You don't want to, hey, your Uriel, this, Max's Bane.
Martin's Bane, yes.
Martin's Bane shipyard. Is it like a good distance from the sun? Or is it like horribly close like this planet?
It's a pretty good distance for achieving most of the power through solar means, but to be honest, you don't see the sun very much because you're in the station. So, doesn't make too much difference, really.
Well, I like the sound of not seeing the sun.
I don't. I quite like sun. I like stars.
But it is so bright, But the sun is just like another star when it is far away.
Well, it is just a star.
This one is very big and bright. So
They're all
it's
quite
not like
big.
a star.
It's just...
If you saw any of them close, you would think they were quite big.
You've seen stars close up?
Fairly close. Not super close, but yes, I've seen them.
In, the photosphere, or... how... You've sailed past stars?
Not that close, but yes.
Who is leading?
Infinity.
Yeah, definitely.
Make a perception check.
Ewoks. Suddenly Ewoks.
16. As you're
No, that's
walking, the sound of conversation going past your ears, you're listening in. You hear a snuffling coming from a dense underbrush, not more than 2 meters away from you.
Oh, here's something. Oh, look.
Twig snapping.
What?
Hello?
What?
There's something. Shall we hide?
Wait,
No, it's an animal.
the trees move?
What?
Hello?
Shh. Hide.
As you speak, the sound goes suddenly quiet.
Oh.
And you hear still, very faintly,
Can I try and see it?
yeah? Roll roll an
I guess I rolled
investigation
it.
check.
Okay. Oh, 8.
You try to pry apart the ferns from where the noise is coming from. Pushing in. As you're doing it, you pull one of the ferns away and snap it off by mistake. You didn't know your own strength, and suddenly you hear disappearing into the fern into the distance. The twigs snap around, and the sound is gone.
I want to see a pig.
None of you mentioned that trees move.
Trees?
Was that a
What are you
tree?
talking
Oh
about?
no, I think
Uriel?
that was an animal. I think it might have been a pig.
Oh.
I've never
Right.
seen one before.
Why would you think it was a tree?
Well, I mean, I've never seen trees before, really. This is sort of quite new.
Do you like them?
They're just like giant mushrooms, Uriel.
Well, I mean, what's the point of them? They're just, they're like access conduits, but
Well,
filled.
actually, they're very useful. They convert CO2 into oxygen, which you breathe. So they're very useful.
They're like organic CO2 scrubbers, right?
Yes.
Before you go on, Infinity, you do see where you heard the noise coming from, but where there was nothing when you eventually got there, that the ground has been dug up a little bit. And that what is sort of lying in the dirt are mushrooms, it looks like.
Tenebris, did you say mushrooms?
What?
Look.
Food?
Well, for you, I guess, yes.
When was the last time the party ate?
Yeah, I was just wondering that. Jesus.
Yep. You
What
are
did
all
we eat?
starving.
Did we eat for the entire of yesterday? Did we have
Am I
breakfast?
hungry?
Oh my god.
I can't think of a single time that we've eaten. Oh no, we ate at the bar.
We ate.
It's one of those D&D things. Do you ever really say
no,
what you eat?
it's
You
quite
tend to have
important.
rations.
Oh, jeez.
You've been away from a place where you could get anything to eat for, what feels like at least 2 days by now.
We didn't find
So
any in the camp, did we, either? Rations. That
The
camp
fish
we
didn't
looked
didn't
through.
feed us. We looked for stuff.
We looked
just didn't
through the bedding and stuff.
We found a
Yeah.
shopping list. That was the closest thing we found to food.
spaghetti. It's a spaghetti.
Yeah,
Wait.
so you guys are starving, and Infinity, you also are running very, very low on the key minerals that you need to keep running.
Let me see if it is food. I'm gonna eagerly dash forward and pick up a mushroom, and squidge it and smell it, and nibble it, and try and work out if this is
Oh, we're just nibbling it straight away, are we?
roll on the random encounter table.
food
Poisonous
mushroom
mushrooms. Insta death.
or
Okay.
non-food mushroom.
So you're sniffing it and you're
Squidging.
squidging it.
The trouble is that so I am not trying to determine whether this is a species that is known to be edible to me, because I do not know the species of this planet, any of them. I'm simply trying to get a general gist of is it like the ones that are usually for eating, or is it like the ones that are
It could be an invasive species. An interplanetary invasive species.
That is true.
If
That is
only
like
you
a
had a
point.
terraforming druid who might have been part of creating a mushroom.
You might know.
Infinity
It's the
doesn't
sort of
know,
thing-
she's just watching.
That you think Tenebris might have done before. Is she
speaks
practiced at this?
Well, you would, to some extent, in that she's very familiar with mushrooms, but usually you know what they are, so you wouldn't have to be trying to tell. But she knows enough different kinds of mushrooms and funguses that there might be a pattern.
Yeah, I think you pick it up, and what you're holding in your hand is it's quite small. It has a red conical cup top and a long stringy stalk, and it's growing in little sort of bushels, so lots and lots of groups of them all growing together in little clusters, and it seems to have been growing out of the ground. And
Pig liked it.
That's true.
you sniff it. It doesn't smell rotting, and it feels firm in your hands. So you feel like this is probably good. You know, it's a healthy mushroom.
Good. This mushroom is doing very well. It is growing well. If I were harvesting it, I would be very pleased with my mushroom crop.
And then you pop it in your mouth. And you bite down. And you feel a tang.
If I die, don't eat the mushroom.
On your tongue. And then you feel the cup of the mushroom start to dissolve, where the stalk remains quite solid. It dissolves onto your tongue and forms a kind of goop in your mouth. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
You start to hear colours.
Fine.
Probably Ali just put goop in your mouth in front of me and didn't expect me to like cry laughing.
20.
22.
22. You're quite practiced at putting unknown mushrooms in your mouth.
I wondered where you were going with that.
And although this is something that you've not quite felt before, you've certainly had other times where worse things have happened when you've eaten unknown mushrooms from strange places. You feel something start to wash over you, a sense slightly of nausea, then the colours, the green and the brightness of the sun start to get a little brighter, but you force it down and push the effects away, and nothing happens to you. In fact, you feel a bit less hungry.
Hey, look. I don't think it is the eating type, but it might be the type that if you were to go to a very fancy place, you could order specially, but they wouldn't necessarily put it on the menu. But if you knew to order it, you could say, like, it would be some special sort of dessert with the melting, and then you would get a little bit of a, like, oh, woo, that kind.
I don't, but that sounds lovely.
Are you saying
Muriel,
it's
would you
edible?
want one?
I'm saying it is not the eating kind, but you can eat it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think we
that
should
clear?
eat.
I think, yeah, sure. I think, I think what Yuri will probably do, because he's used to eating paste, is probably like take it and then just like mush it up in his hand first. It's like a grey paste, and then just like.
You might have a nice time, you might have a terrible time. That is the way it is with mushrooms.
Is this like a drug?
You squash this paste up
Just like a
onto your
mushroom.
hands, Uriel.
Yep.
You examine it for a second. It feels a bit different from the paste that you're normally used to. It's a funny, slightly reddish colour. You smear it on your tongue, as you know how to do. And again, you feel this tang. And when your salivary glands start to work overtime, and you're like, oh, there's something unusual in my mouth.
I had
roll a Constitution.
I had this yesterday. I had a spoon of peanut butter for the first time. Like, I've never had a spoonful of peanut butter.
My God, Simon, that's life-changing. Did you enjoy it? Isn't it amazing?
It was nice, but at the same time, all my salivary glands were just like, whoa!
I sort of imagined the paste to basically be peanut butter, but like a sort of a version of peanut butter from someone who's never eaten peanut butter.
Yeah, and I also had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the first time, which was actually nice. I could get on
Jam,
board.
right? You mean jam?
Well, it didn't have bits in, so it was jelly.
So it was jam.
But
with
still
no
jam.
bits, because we're not
Sound
Americans,
like
Simon.
I
jelly,
thought
that was
the
inside of a
difference.
pork
Jelly
pie.
you have with ice cream.
I'm pretty sure the difference between jelly and jam, though, is that jelly is jam without solid bits in.
No,
Americans
it's American.
call all jams
It's
jelly.
not.
Right?
there's
Even
Roll
if
your
it had bits in.
Constitution
There's the
saving throw.
filthy joke version, which I won't tell, but you can look up if you so wish.
This is a
I'm
clean
not
script
gonna look
stream.
that
We just
up.
talk about goop.
19 on my con saving throw.
You put this mushroom in your mouth and you gulp down this paste, and it is nourishing. I mean, it tastes good. You've not eaten anything for so long that even this, it's good to fill your stomach with something. Then, about a second after you've eaten it, you feel like maybe it's going to come back up. You sit down, a couple of deep breaths, and looking down at the ferns around you, they seem to start to take on a life of their own. For a second, it's almost as though they're becoming fractals, as though they're starting to multiply and multiply, but then whatever that is, it fades and you're back in the forest. No untoward effects.
Well, you're both okay.
Still hungry as well. It
Well-
was quite nice. Oh dear.
Ali, would I eat like mushrooms to get minerals?
Just-
Would that be acceptable?
Does
Just getting
Infinity
like,
just, like,
vague,
eat gravel?
absorbing. Because I feels like absorbing some kind of like organic elements from an edible thing makes sense.
But why would you design that, right? If you were designing Infinity, would you not make it so that you took in inorganic components? Because you go to a planet that didn't have life.
But they wouldn't have like metal and things. They wouldn't have like nuts and bolts for you to eat.
I don't know, but you could eat like gravel.
Eat rocks or stuff.
Yeah. Like if I was designing a
you're-
terraforming robot, I wouldn't
Or-
make it eat organic stuff.
They can create their own food, but then they eat it again. That doesn't make sense.
Essentially, your power, or part of your power, terraforming power, comes from the ability to reshape molecules and atoms into the structures you want. You could try and do this from the very bedrock atoms of, a chunk of slate or something, but that would mean breaking it down and then taking the individual atoms and adding electrons and protons to the neutrons to the nucleus to make different atoms. It's a very energy intensive process.
Yeah.
If you can take in the organic material, then it's much, much easier for you.
Great. I'll have a mushroom.
Roll up
Infinity's
two.
trying
Roll
to
up
eat
two.
again.
Two.
Constitution thing?
She's our guide as well.
Oh yeah.
Sense the same tang in your mouth.
Come with me,
But
children.
For you feel quite excited. It's food you're eating, like
Never
real
done this.
people do.
Like real people. It was on a 2 and it just flipped over from it. And so it's a 12, which is 14.
14.
But it really wanted to be a 2. It would be funny if it was a 2, wouldn't it? And then it didn't.
With a 14, you ingest this mushroom. You're scanning the various different molecules that you're taking in insofar as you can. And you're sensing all sorts of different structures in there, molecular structures. And as you're thinking about these deep structures, it's as though the rest of the world falls away. And suddenly you're floating in a beautiful, calm space with the idea of these molecules floating around you. But then you feel thump, a heavy, calloused hand fall on your shoulder, and you look up into Uriel's face.
You all right?
You find yourself sat on the floor where you were, staring down at your own navel.
Yes, is this what eating is?
Mechanically, yes.
Oh, it's fun.
It's necessary.
Oh, I enjoyed that.
I think it would be nice to eat some more, but if we eat some more, it might really slow us down on our job of getting back to somewhere where there might be normal food.
In Val, there's credits, and when there's credits, we can get food, and then we can do something a bit more productive. But we've got to worry about the short-term objectives first.
I'm pretty hungry now, but I'm gonna take some mushrooms because I might get peckish on the way.
Yes, we should take some with us. It's a shame that, I think I actually do have a way of creating food, but unfortunately, I'm not really, I haven't got that. Program doesn't seem to be running today, but maybe it will tomorrow.
Wow.
I need to have some experience first.
No, there's something I mean, maybe I could make better food, but right now I feel like I can make, maybe some berries. They're quite good.
As you
Little
talk,
D&D
you push
little
on.
D&D joke there for everyone.
So, hey, we're going to go back to Val. That'll be lovely. And we're going to see that Riva? Riva? Right? Is that her name?
Reeve.
As opposed to
Yeah.
Reeve.
Reeve.
What was our favorite one's name? Sandy.
Sandy.
We like Sandy. But we will see Sandy and we will see Reeve. And we should make sure we will be very clear when we are telling her what it is that happened. So you know how we went there and we said, please, stop smuggling. And Ranak
Yes.
said, yes, I will
He
not
said,
do any more
Yes,
smuggling.
I found something much better. And then they touched the wall and the big
Yes.
wall of light came and
Yes.
incinerated them.
That is exactly, yes, I think we should say that. And we don't need to say any more details about.
They just need to
You
know
know,
that he's
what
not going
is
to smuggle
happening.
anymore on account of being dead.
Yeah.
And they don't need to know that we didn't kill him. Just that he's not going to smuggle.
We didn't. Well, we don't. I do not like to hurt people, and I wouldn't want anyone to
Well-
think, oh, that is a person who would be good at hurting people. So I think we should just.
You said that, but then you did that thing, didn't you? Where you just you killed Darax.
No, I didn't.
No, you did.
I
I
didn't.
think we
mean
killed
to.
him twice, actually.
But I don't know how you did it. Because I didn't think that humanoids could do that. You
Well-
fired something at him.
Well, I'm sorry. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean
it's
to.
fine. It's just interesting. I didn't know that was. Have you evolved for that? Is it radiation?
No. You can't tell her that. You can't tell anyone about that. That was a mistake, okay?
Oh.
That was just. I didn't mean to do that because we didn't like to do that kind of thing. But it's just that Uriel was on the ground, and then I was like,
Who's we?
He is going to kill Uriel, and then he was shooting, and then.
Are you saying it's a bug, not a feature? It's something that just sort of accidentally happened, or were you in control of it? Is it something that you have in your part of your feature set?
we are not bugs. I don't think we are bugs.
You keep saying we.
Well, yes. Well, no, but I don't want you to think that you don't need to be scared of me because I am very nice. That is,
You're lovely.
I just want to tell you, I'm very,
not scared
very
of you.
nice. Okay, you're not either, are you, Uriel?
No. I'm just trying to work out if we were to get into a situation in the future, would you be able to,
No, definitely.
Oh.
I will not do that again because then you might be scared of me or people might notice.
But what
We're
if
not
I
even
was
scared
on
of
the
you, We're
ground?
friends.
What
If
if I
you
was
were
on the ground and somebody was,
I thought you were going to die, Uriel. You went down and then the Darax was there and then you were like on the ground and then I was like, oh my gosh, and then I panicked. And that's why we kind of, broke people's brains, but only accidentally.
Yes, I will kill people if they try and hurt you.
Roll me a perception check, Infinity.
Oh, 11.
You've been walking and talking and so concentrated on your companions that you've not realised that you've come to a darker part of the forest. The canopy is thicker. You've come down a slight slope and the trees around you are now tightly packed, almost oppressive. You look between them and you swear you can sense movement, but you can't see what's moving.
I think that pig might be back.
Is a pig something we should be worried about?
They tend to just look for mushrooms and truffles. They
Okay.
say oink according to my databanks.
Sorry, that's just adorable. They make a sound like this. Oink.
P is for pig. They say oink. C is for cow. They say moo.
I love it.
That's what Infinity's databanks are.
If
Just
Infinity's
children's books.
databanks are slightly scrambled and the files are corrupted and the wrong noises are in the different places, like a child who's barely got the idea of Old MacDonald.
Yeah. I'm a chicken.
Yeah.
You continue on, down, and the ground is sloping more now. And eventually you reach a depression in the tree line where pine needles have started to mount up. The ground is slightly unsteady. And the forest around you has fallen almost silent.
So, you won't tell Reeve what I did, right?
No, of course not.
Doesn't seem any reason to.
Okay. You can't tell anyone, okay?
No, we're friends. We can have secrets. I've never had a secret before.
If I show you secret, will you still be my friend and not be scared of me?
Yes, of course.
Maybe if we had some kind of key that we could establish a secret with. That if we...
Tenebris, as you're about to do this, you feel the wind change. And you catch the scent of musk on the air. Rank, potent.
I look for a pig because I think Infinity would like to find a pig.
Roll a perception check.
You said it was dark here, so it's not the sun's not my eyes or anything.
No.
9.
Made a right pig zero that.
Way.
Too quick, Simon. You're way too waiting for it.
Among the shadows of the trees, you catch the sight of movement, shapes, shadows moving behind the trees. Closer to you than anything you've seen before in this forest.
Wait, no, someone is watching. Or many, many pigs. There, can you see? Where? I'm gonna try and point.
Look, a person or possibly several pigs. Anatomy students for several hundred years.
Roll me perception checks, both of you.
Natural 1.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I got a 13.
Infinity is desperate to see a pig.
You both look to where Tenebris has been pointing, and you don't see anything in the darkness. But you do start to catch that scent. Then, behind you, Infinity, you hear...
Turn around.
You turn, and you see pale yellow eyes coming out from behind a tree trunk.
Don't like that.
Then, Uriel, you see, to your left, another pair of eyes moving slowly, circling you.
Are they glowing, or are they just... We can see that they are yellow.
No, they're not glowing, they're just yellow.
Okay.
And then Tenebris, you, at the back of the party, see a shape emerge from behind the trees. You see muscles bunching and flowing under heavy fur. Thick, long, sickly yellow fangs. A wolf. It crouches down low and charges at you. And I need everyone to roll me initiative,
I'm
please.
just writing wolf down on my
This
sheet
is
of animals,
not
David.
a pig!
He said snuffle. He did snuffling before.
Or even several pigs!
I knew
Maybe
coming to the
several
forest
pigs
was a
have been
bad
killed.
idea.
Ah!
Oh, okay, not good.
Woo, good. 22.
8. Look, yeah. Look, it's a wolf, or possibly a few pigs, but I'm pretty sure it's a wolf.
3 pigs in a wolf coat.
Infinity?
I got a 6.
It's my grandma, or possibly a wolf wearing her clothing.
It's 3 pigs pretending
right.
to be a wolf who are pretending to be my grandma.
They seem it's either 3 pigs in houses, or...
What's your dexterity, Infinity?
My dexterity is 13, so +1.
Oh, very good. So, Tenebris, you are the first to react as you see this creature come running towards you. At the moment, it's roughly 20 feet away, having just emerged out from behind the tree line. You are stood in a line. Just in front of you is Uriel. Just in front of Uriel is Infinity, about 10 feet away from you, Tenebris. And you've also seen that there are these other 2 wolves circling your party. What would you like to do?
So how many is that in total, sorry?
3.
3.
Any of
Watch
the,
this!
definitely not going to do anything, but are the trees at all potentially climbable?
They are not easily climbable.
Big,
no.
massive trunks go.
They're very
straight
big.
up, right?
But you can see, just from glancing at them, that they are gnarled and knobbled. So it's not a kind of flat surface.
Are they gnarled and knobbled with a particular, like, clinging onto place, like a even like a little stump a certain way up, like reachable? Like, basically I don't want to climb up and just be like unable to move my hands, but can I climb up and grab and then have a free hand?
Yeah, I think the branches, they come out from quite low down, so you could make your way up to a branch.
I'm gonna try and
Hi.
do that on my turn. I'm gonna try and climb a tree.
Up.
Sorry, people.
As you
Bye.
do this,
Oh god,
You
they brought
hear-
air support!
a rumble overhead, and looking up for a second, you actually see the shadow of what looks like
Giant wolf.
one of the shuttles that brought you into Val go streaming overhead, and the wolves themselves turn to look up before refocusing their gaze back on you. You run over to one of these trees, looking up for handholds. You try and climb. Roll an athletics check.
I'm really bad at athletics. So bad. So bad. Oh, I did get a natural 20. That
Hey!
does make it an 18.
Oh,
Oh.
20 for an 18.
love it.
You feel the adrenaline surging through you as this wolf stalking towards you. You back yourself up into this tree, reach behind you with one hand, and you feel the roughness, the knobble of a kind of what do you call them? A knurl in the
Knoll.
bark.
A knob.
Not.
Knob. A knot.
Knurled?
Oh yeah, knot. That's the one.
A knot.
A knot.
A knot.
That's it. A knurl isn't a word. You feel a knot with your hand. You
You
turn
reach
around
around
to
and
face
feel
the
it.
tree.
It's
But scratching your skin, and you pull yourself up onto this knot, and you see just above you a branch just within reach. You reach up, grab it, and now you're hanging about 12 feet off the ground. So your feet are about 12 feet off the ground.
Oh my gosh.
So that's your movement and your action. Bonus action?
No. Yeah, I think that might just be like. That's not the pig!
I don't
Uriel,
think it is, no.
you hear the words, "That's not a pig!"
Trees! I'm guessing. So were we in a line? Did you say?
You were in a line, Tenebris has now legged it and appears to be hanging from a branch a little way away from you. Just 20 feet to your left is the low shape of a wolf. And in front of you, past infinity, you can see the shadow of another shape and glittering golden eyes. But that shadow seems to be larger than the wolf you're looking at.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Uriel would want to cluster together with Infinity, rather than try and run away. So yeah, Charlie's Angels it,
Yeah.
but with fists.
With Tenebris climbing up his tree, and then us two like, wait, no, Tenebris, you're meant to be in the middle.
Ali's Angels. Oh my god.
Oh, that's us. That's not the characters.
guys.
That's us, guys.
So sad you're all about to die.
Exactly.
Going to a bunch of wolves.
So Uriel has no idea what a wolf is. I feel like he's going to go up to next to Infinity and like prepare to, if they do attack, to strike. It's like ready an attack action. That's a thing I can do.
Absolutely. You stand with your back to Infinity, fists brought up near your face, classic fighting stance, and wait. Yes, with the sound of your bionics. Now it's the wolves. The wolf that was following you, Shamini.
Tenebris.
Sorry, Tenebris. Who is Shamini?
Never heard of it.
Well,
She flies overhead. That was the name of the shuttle.
Yeah.
crouch down beneath you and tense its legs, and it's going to try and jump up and grab your foot.
12, yeah, fair. Oh,
And
man.
it rolled 2.
Oh, the
So it
twos.
jumps up and snaps, and you hear clacking noise of its teeth biting into the air beneath your feet, but it doesn't reach you. The second wolf circles you, Uriel, comes behind you, trying to find your back, but meeting only your face. Comes closer and closer. And then you see Infinity. A third wolf, much larger than the other two, come from behind the trunk of the tree in front of you. It crouches down, and then both of them leap at the same time to attack both Uriel and Infinity. And we'll do the smaller wolf first. It's going to attack you, Uriel.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a natural 20.
That does hit.
That will be hitting. So it leaps towards you, and you feel the weight of it hit your chest. You lose your balance for a second, and then its teeth are in your neck. And that is an 8 plus 2. Oof. So 10 piercing damage as it bites down into the flesh of your neck.
Okay.
On the other side, this much, much larger wolf with its blazing golden eyes and flanks that seem to have tattered fur over scar lines leaps towards you, Infinity, and it rolls a 23 to hit.
That'll do it. Yeah.
God.
And it sinks its teeth into your leg, tries to tear out where it assumes your tendon is. And that is
Why?
a 10 damage piercing.
Great.
No, sorry, that's an 8 piercing damage.
8. Okay. Okie dokie.
Right.
And now,
Ow.
Infinity, it's your turn.
Okay. The one in front of me, she's gonna like very quickly scan her databanks for wolf noises, and I'm going to cast Animal Friendship by just playing out like a friendly wolf noise at this wolf in front of me. So this is what it says. The spell lets you convince a beast that you mean it no harm. Choose a beast that you can see within range. It must be able to see and hear you. If the beast's intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell fails. Otherwise, the beast must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you for 24 hours.
It has to be a beast and
got a
not
dog.
And it has to be a beast.
So if it was
So-
a weird monster or other kind of weird creature, it wouldn't work.
I have fingers crossed that it's a beast.
So does it get to roll a saving throw at all?
Yeah, wisdom save.
Right. If it's lower than 4.
14. If its intelligence is under 4, then it gets to do it. Otherwise, it just fails. If it's smart, it fails.
It rolled a natural 18.
Oh, yeah, that'll-
19.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You play out these noises, but something has gone wrong. Some wires have been crossed, and you get some sort of other noise. There's a moment of confusion across its face, and then it just bites down harder. It doesn't know what you're trying to do. Uriel, you were holding your action. What were you holding it for?
Was like anticipating if they did attack to strike. To strike back.
Just
Excellent.
before,
So-
can I use my bonus action as well?
Yes.
Can I cast Shillelagh? And
Brilliant.
get the wood club out, ready to bonk.
The wood club extends itself from your arm, and Uriel, seeing this attack, you attack the other wolf.
Yeah. So it'd be the one that goes for me. So, oh, for goodness sakes, sorry. That is a. Let me just check my modifier. That's a 17 to hit.
That will hit. Roll damage.
And now this one was D6 plus. Because this was the new arm. So it was D6 plus Dex mod. Ooh, so that is. Does that account for proficiency or just the Dex modifier? I think it's just the Dex.
Yeah, you don't get proficiency on the damage.
So that's 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. Smack! You hear a squelch and a crack as you come down on top of the wolf's head, knocking it down to the floor for a moment. It lifts itself up, dazed. You can see it swaying in front of you. It looks really badly hurt.
Do I get to take a bonus action because I held the action?
You don't, but you do get to... no, you don't.
Yep, sure.
So, sadly. And that brings us right back to the top of the order. Chamonix. Tenebris, I'm so sorry. I just... It's like...
It's because of the cosplay, and so you're like, you see.
Chamonix is a
Am
character who
I?
I've made, who you might meet in the future, so I'm just sort of thinking
It's
where else
canon
can-
now, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get up onto the branch so that I have my hands free and I'm no longer dangling from it.
Right. That's pretty easily done, I think.
Oh,
You
lovely.
can
Well
scramble
enough.
up
Can I
there.
use my movement to do that?
You absolutely can, your climbing speed.
And then I'm going to sort of like be sort of balancing there on this sort of branch. And I'm just going to say, well, I suppose maybe I could hurt the wolves just like one last time.
As we're both being like wrestled with wolves.
My
Yeah,
leg!
that would be great!
Okay.
Friends! I promise!
Okay, you still like me, yeah?
Yes!
For I promise we will not be scared of you!
At this point, Infinity's just making like cat noises, like.
Trying to like hold the wolf's mouth open like you're trying to get a bit of food out of a dog's mouth.
And the cat noises as loudly as you can.
In that case, Tenebris is just gonna start whispering herself. I think she's whispering to herself. I think she's gonna, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that actually. How far away? Yeah, no, they're like 20 feet from me, right?
The one below you is just 20 feet beat. The other ones are maybe about 40 feet away from you now.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna look at the big one that's going after Infinity, because that looks the scariest. And I'm just going to whisper. I'm gonna like with one hand kind of balancing and the other hand kind of like making like strange patterns in the air, just whispering, "Bad doggy, no doggy, bad." Can it make a wisdom save for me, please?
Absolutely. That is a 9.
Okay. So The bad doggy is going to take 7 points of like psychic damage, and
Woof.
use its reaction, if it hasn't used a reaction yet, to move its full speed away from me.
Right. Yes. So that would be away from Infinity as well, who is
Hopefully.
the person that's attacking. Infinity, you watch as this huge wolf latched onto your arm, shakes its head from side to side, and its grip loosens, and it looks around it startled, and you hear, and then it turns, tail between its legs, and it runs away from you, which would give you an attack of actually, I don't think you get an attack of opportunity on a reaction.
Yeah.
It's using its reaction. I don't
It's
see
it's
why
moving out of
not.
my it's
It
moving
is
out of my
moving-
area.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
I've got
Great.
reaction.
It doesn't say it
Am
can't
I gonna-
take attacks of opportunity.
That
Fuck up
sounds
the
good to me.
spell now by doing this. No? I don't know. I mean, I don't know that. Infinity's going to do it either way. But it's bad. It's an 11 to hit.
That does not hit. You swing out with your club, but off balance, you swing over the top of this creature as it loops away from you back towards the trees.
That's good.
That's Tenebris. Did you want to do anything else?
No. I have no bonus actions, so no, thank you.
Which brings us to Uriel.
So I've still got a wolf attacking me.
Sorry, Uriel.
Thanks, Tenebris.
You two are going to be such good friends eventually. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
And well, I guess I'm gonna punch it in its wolf face again.
Rolled it.
Ooh, that's a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
So this is
Poor wolf.
D6 plus 3. That does 5 points of damage.
And that is enough. You punch it, and you feel its skull casing crack beneath your hands, and it goes limp and falls to the floor. You still have your bonus action and movement.
So the one that was attacking in Infinity has run away.
It's only run 30 feet away or 50 feet away, whatever.
Yeah. But is there one still underneath Tenebris's tree?
Yes, you can see circling underneath a branch 20 feet below where Tenebris is balancing on this this branch sticking up this massive tree. Another wolf circling, looking up, saliva dripping down from its face.
This seems like a good a time as any to do it. I'm going to move over to it and use a key point to go for Flurry of Blows.
Whoop, whoop, whoop!
So he's tapping into an energy source, and like the El Fisto is just like suddenly way more energetic. He's got way more energy going through the circuits.
It's like that moment in The Matrix where
He's beginning
Neo
to
decides
believe.
to punch, or to punch Morpheus so fast that, it's that, and it's like you're for a second, all the trees disappear and you're in a dojo, and you reach out and you punch Lawrence Fishburne. Roll to hit.
So this is the Unarmed Strike. So this is 1d4 plus 3 if it does hit.
That's right.
Guess what I rolled? A 2. So I get that's a 7 to hit on the first
The
one.
twos are after us again.
Lawrence Fishburne does not fill the whole space Lawrence Fishburne should.
Stop trying to hit me and hit me! I can go again.
I understand these references now because I've watched The Matrix.
Yay!
Well done.
Yes!
That is a 23 to hit.
That definitely hits roll damage.
This is 1d4 plus 3. I hate d4s, so where's my d8? That's... Why did I say that? That's 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. You lash out, catch the wolf in the side. It cowers down on the floor before getting up again and starting to circle once more. It looks over towards the body of its fallen wolf pack friend, and then over towards the tree line where the larger wolf has stopped moving and is looking again back towards you, Uriel, and you, Infinity. Now, the two wolves move in tandem, circling around you both and joining up together again, just 10 feet away from you, Uriel. And then they will both jump at you. And the smaller one will roll to hit. That is a 7.
Does not hit.
The larger one...
Clang, clang, bitch!
Yeah, that's because of the breastplate.
Would have been toast if not for
first
that.
one hits you with its leg and rolls off towards to the side. The second one, that is a... Hold up.
I like music.
That's a 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
As the huge wolf launches itself at you and catches your head in its jaws, its massive jaws,
Oh, the breath!
crunches down,
Not the barcode.
and it does 11 points of piercing damage.
I only had 8 hit points remaining, so...
How did you only have 8?
Because you did 10
You did
points of
once
damage.
already.
Oh, like you were the one! Oh, how did you possibly take 10 points of damage? My name's Sally, and I get attacked by wolves when I go to the shops every day. One day we'll have an innocuous, adventure session. Right, yeah, I'm
An
down.
innocuous adventure session. The exact thing I want from my adventure session.
Yeah, character development. Talking, walking, like Lord of the Rings, but no!
The last thing you sense is the smell of rotting meat from between the teeth of this animal, and then darkness as it clamps down on your head. Infinity, you see behind you Uriel's body go limp. And it's your turn.
Ooh.
The one time I do something nice, it's an Empress.
I'm just sorry. I'm just really quickly checking something because she's pissed now. Uriel's gone down. No, I can't. Okay. Is there a wolf that isn't within 5 feet of Uriel? Or are they both within 5 feet?
They're both within 5 feet.
Fine. In which case, I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt on the big one.
So is that roll to hit?
Yeah. No, 13.
13 does not hit. Is this from your chest where you cast the other one?
Yeah, that's
before?
from my power pack. Yeah.
You turn yourself towards him, open up your chest, open your arms, and this bolt of bright light that singes the hairs on the wolf and disappears into the tree line.
I'm gonna run over and just stand over. Is Uriel on the floor or is he in the mouth?
His head is being held in the mouth of this giant wolf, but you could interpose yourself.
I just want to get as close as I can and try and put myself in the way.
Okay, you do that. Tenebris.
Shitballs
I have been next to useless in this fight.
is the thing I'm thinking right now. It's generally shitballs. Damn. I am going to. So, my current worry is that there are 2 wolves left, and Uriel is on the ground. So, the first thing I'm going to do is very awkwardly clamber down out of the tree. It's just sort of half climbing, half landing, in the vague hope that it's gonna be more interested in me than delicious, unconscious Uriel snack.
Roll an acrobatics check as you essentially fall off.
Don't get that one, please. Somebody, my God.
Don't get a 2.
No juice.
Acrobatics, did you say?
I'm very nervous now.
Not great. What's that? I broke my.
Or
broke my
acrobatics.
beyond.
Athletics or acrobatics.
Yes, it's still not great.
No, not good. Okay.
Wait a sec. Sorry, just reloading my beyond. 8.
Okay. You fall. You're trying to clamber down. Your hands slip. You fall to the ground, and your ankle turns beneath you. You stagger a little bit. You take 1 point of damage, but you're still standing. You're still upright. You shake off the pain and look towards these wolves.
I am going to again put out a hand, and little green faint glow everywhere on me, on my hand, in the air, on the big wolf. Oh, fuck balls. Shitty balls.
Why are we so shit today?
The one
It's
time!
a hit. It's an 8 to hit
Are you aiming? Well,
at the big wolf. I'm
neither of it.
trying to make an
Didn't
attack.
hit either.
You're always the only one doing damage. I've done that. Oh, I should never. I'm just
The
being
air glints with tiny speckles of green, but nothing seems to happen. And now we're back to Uriel.
Death saving throw, I assume.
Yep.
Oh shit balls.
Oh my god, I'm actually gonna.
Infinity's in the way. It's fine. Is it fine? It's
That's a
not
17.
That's a
Okay,
success.
okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. That's really, really good. That's really,
Yeah.
really
That helps.
good.
Got
Really,
a
really
bit
good.
of time.
Yeah,
Well,
that does. That gives us another round
yeah.
before you
So
can
now
permadie.
But that
the
means I
two
can't.
wolves turn, and the large, massive one drops Uriel's head like a ball to the ground and turns to you, Infinity. The other one, the smaller one, turns to you, Tenebris. You can see its nose scenting the air, and it gazes at you. And then its back legs tense, and it leaps at you, Tenebris. And that is
Oh god.
a 7 to hit. No, an
Dodge.
8.
Dodge out the way.
Okay.
You duck down,
Okay.
covering your head with your hands, and the wolf over the top of you, and you just hear as it flies over you, and then as it scrabbles in the pine needles to turn itself round to look at you. Infinity, the larger wolf, bares its fangs. You hear from deep in its throat, and you can see the golden eyes staring you down, and it will jump at you, and that is a natural 20. Unbelievable.
Going down.
Oh frick! Oh no!
It's alright, they'll raise us as their own. We can found a new city on the Tiber.
That is a 12.
That's exactly the number of hit points that I had. I'm Emily. I've never gone down in this playthrough yet. That's what I was this morning. This morning? Earlier today? How long has it been? How long have we been playing for?
An hour and 5 minutes ago.
Tenebris, you see the two bodies of your fallen comrades on the floor. As you watch,
Right.
the wolves turn towards you, and you hear something from up above you. A high-pitched whistle. And you see the wolves look up, as though they've heard this sound before. You look up and you see shapes flitting across the canopy. And then bolts start hitting the ground around the wolves. They turn. They start to run. One pinions the smaller one to the ground. Another one hits the large one in the flank, but it starts running, moving, and it's fleeing away as fast as it possibly can go. You hear it into the forest, away from you. Shapes dark shapes start to descend from the trees. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shapes slowly coming down from the trees. As this is happening, Infinity and Uriel, can you roll death saves?
That's a 7.
Oh, fuck balls.
That's 2 fails. Cool. 2 failures. Sorry, for people on the podcast, I rolled an actual 1.
The figures reach the ground. Shamani, Sir Tenebris, you see in front of you a hunched figure wearing similar goggles to your own. At least they seem similar. From her arms down to her sides, there's strips of what look like some sort of material coming from her hands all the way down to the center of her chest, of her torso. And again, also these strips of the same material going from near her groin down towards her feet. On her hands, she wears gloves with sharp metal claws sticking out of them. She lifts her goggles up, looks at you, and looks down at the 2 bodies of Uriel and Infinity on the floor. Oh, you did our work for us. Oh, I suppose we should be thanking you. And then 3 other shapes land around you. One is a much larger figure with what looks like a tail sticking out of the back of their cloak. Another is a small child with long blonde hair holding a knife in their hand. And another is an older man holding a long hunting rifle. They stand looking at you in the shadows of the trees.
Are they between me and Infinity and Uriel?
They're surrounding you, you 4.
Okay, we're all 3 in the middle.
Yeah. And with that, we'll leave it there.
No! No!
Harley!
Oh my god! I'm gonna die.
You are 1 death saving throw away from permadeath. If you were ever alive in the first place, as we said at the
quite.
start of the episode.
Maybe we'll prepare for that next week.
Who hurt you, Ali?
Yeah, and why are you taking it out on us? What did Infinity ever do to you?
I love it.
Someone's going to have to edit together like a
Ali, you're
highlight reel
amazing.
of this for next episode for that cliffhanger.
Oh my god. Right, well, we're going to have a quick break now, everyone,
Yep.
and then come back and talk about some science.
Yeah,
Can't
Yay.
wait.
we're going to disappear for just a couple of minutes, and we'll be back in about, by the hour to have a bit of a chat. We say about half an hour, I think, but it was longer last time.
It will be longer.
Yeah, and so stick
I'm going
around.
to drink my wine.
And we're looking forward to what were we supposed to be talking about?
We don't. Shamani is meant to be talking
Well,
about
I was
thing, but
really
we
trying
didn't.
really hard.
But no,
We
it's
definitely
fine.
had started the conversation, but
We
it
did
didn't
start the
quite
conversation.
end.
Let's
So,
decide in the break what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah,
Sure thing.
all right. It'll be a
Right,
surprise.
so stay where we are. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go. Well, you can go somewhere, but come back. It's important.
Come back.
Don't touch that
We'll
dial.
do,
Leave
but then
us.
come back.
More wine.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes, guys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We've had a short and exciting break where we've all calmed down from our near-death experiences. Well, we're
I'm
still,
going to die.
yeah, we haven't escaped the near-death experience yet. It's fine. Tenebris not unconscious for once, so I'm pretty happy about this. This is the section of the show, the DnDebrief, the post-show analysis of the science of the episode and the science of the world. And various things that came up today, but I would like to hijack this D&D briefly, if I may.
No one who's hijacking ever says, "If I may."
Excuse me.
I'm taking over this train.
I
If
may.
that's
I
okay
would
with
just like do a little bit of hijacking.
That's a treat.
Because, okay, this is tenuous, but bear with me, right? We dug up some mushrooms and ate some mushrooms, and I want to use this as an excuse to talk about my favorite fungus, which is cordyceps, which some of you may have heard of, because cordyceps is the greatest fungus. If you're very freaked out, if you like being really freaked out. So I was single for many years. Now that I think about it, well,
Where's this going?
Where's this going to in relation to mushrooms?
because I had a poster on
Because
my
you haven't
wall.
met a fun guy
Let it
yet.
happen. Let it happen. No, Simon, you don't get a clap for that.
I had a poster of cordyceps on my wall for many years, which always used to freak out various like friends and flatmates, and people who came into my
hang
room.
Poster.
Like a
hold up.
laminated photo.
Do you have a
Laminated
picture of
A4.
this?
A laminated photo. Not
Yes.
even like a poster, like a photo that you've
Like a photo
taken or
that
printed
I
out and
printed
laminated.
out and laminated. Yes.
Which
Of.
cordyceps? Because there's
Right,
loads,
so,
right?
let me
Student times are
describe-
rough, Ali. Like,
I'll describe
Yeah.
the photo to you, right? The photo is of like a sort of reddish, like tarantula type spider. You know, one of those spiders that's like big and chunky and hairy.
Just
like,
what I want on my wall.
And it's sort of on its back with its legs kind of crunched in, as we learnt the other day, due to the sort of hydraulic properties, not being able to use the hemolymph to expand its legs again. So it's dead, and it's got these tall, thin, fungal fruiting bodies just erupting from various places in its bodies, and it's just lying there with this like finger-like fungus just like spreading out from all over it.
lovely.
Watching, if you-
Okay,
I'm
so
doing
picture
an
the scene, right?
impression.
You've been on a
You
date
said
with
you were.
Charmony.
You said you were single for quite some time.
You go back, you know, you've had some
no.
wine,
Yeah.
you go back to
Yeah, this is
Charmony's
on my
room
bedroom.
and you open the door
Yeah.
and you see a spider with mushrooms growing out of it.
Yeah, basically.
But
How
presumably
many
also,
people ran?
So I don't know. No. Well, they just were like, "What's that? Why? It's gonna haunt my nightmares forever." Especially when you explain what it does. Cordyceps. The reason cordyceps is my favorite. It's my favorite fungus. Is because what a lot of species of cordyceps do is take over insects' brains and explode out of their bodies in order to fruit and propagate their spores onto the world. One of the most best studied examples is a type of cordyceps fungus that infects ants. The little ants are there in their colony. If they get infected, it gets into their brain, starts affecting their brain chemistry, taking over their tissues, and changes their behavior. It makes the ants go off by themselves, abandoning their friends and loved ones, and find basically the environment that is perfect for this fungus to sprout. So somewhere nice and warm and humid, somewhere like raised up. I think they go several meters up off the ground. It then makes the ant clamp down with its jaws onto like a leaf or a stem with such force that when the ant dies from just being taken over for fungus and not eating, it stays clamped shut and it stays just dangling there. And the fungus sprouts out of it, sometimes just out of the top of its head, just a little like coming up out of its head and a little blob on the end, and thus it can spread its spores.
but would it
and
taste
get
good?
more.
Because I mean, you were munching on that fungus like.
Important question.
but
Would it
honestly,
taste
right?
good?
Would it taste nice? I mean,
Can
that fungus, those spores aren't going to control you, right? You're not going to be climbing
Probably
up over the
fine.
grass
But it's
and-
specific to the
Probably fine.
biochemistry of a particular species of ant, I think. Like each type of cordyceps is specific.
Has to be really
you wanna know something
host
awesome?
parasite specific. Yeah.
Awesome and mushroom related, and
Mushrooms!
also so the magic mushrooms, right?
Were they magic
Oh.
mushrooms? Was that based on a real mushroom? The mushroom that we had in the story, like little red ones
A real
underground.
mushroom that I knew once.
I was going to say, is this,
I don't think magic
this sounded
mushrooms are
like it
red.
was based on a personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a kind of far away look in my eye.
Well, I was
No,
like,
no.
if they're underground, are they mushrooms or are they fungus? Aren't mushrooms more
Well,
like,
truffles
above
live
ground?
underground, don't they? I
But
mean,
they're just round. They're not.
but actually, interesting point that most of a fungus is underground. Is that where you were going with it?
Like an
most
iceberg.
yeah, just like an iceberg,
that's a type
but
of
in
lettuce.
soil and completely different. but apart from that, very similar. Like
For listeners at home, Emily just flipped the bird at me.
But all of us. For
No, it
no
was at
reason.
Simon. No, it
Wasn't
was
it?
at
It was
Simon.
very directed.
It was very clearly at Simon, and he knew.
But all their hyphae and their mycelial network, is it mycelial network? I think it is. It occupies a huge area underground, and they just stick their mushrooms up to the fruiting bodies above the ground, do their filthy sexy business, and then they go back to just being a sort of collection of tendrils, right? And the largest organism on the planet
I was just Googling this.
Fungus. It's a
I've
fungus
heard
in
this.
Canada which lives under the huge forest there, and is colossal. I don't know how big.
It's
How
almost
big is it?
It's almost 4 square miles.
Wow. And it's one single organism.
Armillaria
It's all connected,
osteryae.
isn't
Or as it's nicknamed, the humongous fungus.
Humongous fungus. That's great.
Fungus,
That's a good name. Kudos to whoever named that. I bet they were
Sometimes
themselves.
they're really. Someone sat there and went, "It's really big. It's humongous. A humongous fungus." And they had the day off after that. That was
I think it
Deserved.
took a lot of workshopping to get there. I don't
Do you
think it just
think?
came to someone. I
Big
think that's days and
fungus.
days of work.
giant fungus. Oh, what a big fungus.
And we're like, no, that doesn't quite do it. Let's scratch that one off. I was just
Someone just
looking,
walking past like the window cleaner went, "God, that's a humongous mushroom,m," and they went, "Wait, wait."
No, it's not there. And then they went for another 3 days.
Yeah.
So there's actually a fascinating wiki on this, on largest organisms, because there's the fungus, and then there's also we also have the idea of like a superorganism. So which is
was
like the
gonna
Great Barrier
say-
Reef is you can sort of
Oh,
because
that's
it's so
not what I was
interconnected.
thinking.
'Cause
Is there a kind of tree that's also very large due to it technically being
There
melted
is. It's a
underground?
quaking aspen called Pando.
Yes.
Like that's its personal name, like
And it's a clonal colony, so everything is genetically identical within it,
Ando the aspen.
Cool.
making it the
And
head.
it's all connected, or
Yeah.
it's just
Does it
they're
have
just
to be
clones.
connected, or does it just have to be cloned?
So I think it's basically like a root system that is connected.
It's interesting though, because could you still separate?
Is it the same organism?
Yeah,
Is it
at
the
what
same
point-
ship?
there are multicellular organisms that you can separate, and all the different bits of it would still
Would be a
survive.
clone,
So
yeah.
and they're still one organism until you separate them.
But I do
You
love
can
this
make them
idea
separate,
of
yeah.
thinking of the Great Barrier Reef as a superorganism, because at that point it's almost like the role of a cell is being like a highly specialized thing that is symbiotic with other cells is fulfilled by an individual life form, like a fish or
You
a
can think
coral.
of a city as a superorganism as well. I mean, it's quite a loose concept.
But the I think this is one of these things though. It's like, what is the largest organism? Is like it's so fuzzy.
How do you define that? Yeah.
But fungi. The largest living fungus, yes, is a honey fungus.
Oh, not the
type of-
humongous fungus.
No, that is it.
Sad. Oh, it's the same one.
Armillaria osteryae, or a type of honey fungus that is estimated to be 2,400 years old.
Oh my god, that
And
thing is awesome.
may weigh as much as 605 tons.
That's a lot of Canadian history. It is in Canada, right?
No, it's in Oregon, so close.
Ah, close. A lot of Oregonian history. I wonder what it saw. Because, I mean, now I could be way off here, but isn't there, like, a lot of the original population of the Americas are thought to have come over from the ice bridge between the easternmost parts of Russia, Kamchatka, and Alaska. So presumably, those people coming down would have walked over that fungus when they first came to the Americas.
How old is the fungus?
It's 2,400 years old.
Estimated to be.
Wow.
How
Older
long
than
did
In the
Jesus.
Americas, at
Yeah.
least 15,000 years.
How
But
do you know
there's
that?
because it was a graphic label on a film that I'd done recently. So I thought, oh, just look up how long of the Americas been inhabited, and 15,000 years is very like that's the sort of accepted date. But there's so many sort of exciting and tantalizing hints at like way earlier. Like there was a paper about some stone tools where these scientists were like, look, these stone tools, which are from like tens of thousands of years earlier, where like we think it wasn't stone tools. That was the point. It was bones that they said these marks on these mammoth bones can only have come from stone tools. And other people were like, this is, this is not enough evidence to make such a huge claim. But they were like, look, we can.
We've hit a lot of bones with a
nothing
lot of
else it
stuff.
could be. Yeah. We've been smashing elephant bones with rocks, and this is it. This is what you get. So
there is. If you want direct evidence, this is so cool. In September 2021, so not 2 months ago, scientists reported the discovery of human footprints in White Sands National Park that are estimated to be 23,000 years old.
Wait, where's that?
In New Mexico.
I love it when they find footprints as well, because it's such a tangible connection to people's lives and behaviour.
What was their gait like? How big were the feet? Tell me of the feet, Simon.
The feet have shrunk over the years. Originally, humans had like size 50 feet. They actually swam across the Pacific.
But they still use the same size system.
They weren't very successful hunters because it was like flip-flops, just like flap, flap, flap whenever they walked anywhere. So
yeah, really good in the seas.
That's amazing though. That because that's unequivocal. Like that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture here, right here. It looks like a human foot. Right.
Looks like if someone trod in sand.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Love science.
But they must be able to tell like loads of stuff from the gait as well, like that they move. Because I know that with dinosaurs, right, where they're always like for the T-Rex, it's something crazy. Like there's only one. This maybe I would check this, but it's something like there's only one T-Rex like footprint that they've found. And then they kind of basically like reverse engineer just loads and loads of stuff from it. They're like, oh, they ran. No, wait, they walked. They kind of ambled. They shuffled. Like all this sort of stuff. They had big feet. They had small feet. They had loads of feet.
Yeah.
Like,
there was is it in the Ballad of Big Owl? There was like a Walking with Dinosaurs special that I think referenced that.
But what do we know from this? Okay, well that can be homework, right? We can go away and find out what they knew of this.
But if we're talking about this, can I talk about one of possibly my favourite fossil ever, which is the...
Do you have a favourite fossil?
Well, I think,
Not only that, like the competition is so extreme that this is only possibly your favourite fossil
ever.
So basically, there's a series of footprints, and I'm trying to find the name of it because it is famous. What is the bloody name of this? They give it the wretched name. It's basically human footprints along a beach, and then within those adult footprints are child footprints.
What?
So
that's amazing.
Like early humans had exactly the same thing that we do with kids now, where there was an adult who walked and then a toddler who just walked following in the footsteps.
Or they had a foot with a little tiny foot underneath.
Like the alien queen, but feet instead of mouths.
Those are the two options. Yeah,
they are the two options. Have people seriously considered that actually maybe feet used to have a little baby foot that when you walked just also added another footprint?
There's a paper in that,
I'm sure there is.
It should be there in the literature.
That's where I'm going to make my name.
Crazy you could do a whole computer model of like different kinds of this is the way. It's impossible for it to have been a toddler. It had to have been a tiny foot on the bottom of a big foot. All the evidence points this way.
You can hear it, can't
you?
Yeah.
So there you go. Sorry, I'm still looking to find the name of this thing because there's a lot of fossil footprints of humans which are obviously interesting, but I'm trying to find the specific one. But there you go.
While you're looking for that,
I wanted to know how bad it would have been because we've got these mushrooms with us. How bad it would have been if we'd eaten a whole load of these mushrooms.
Well,
we've still got them. He can't tell us.
We've got them.
Yes. I mean, it would have been interesting. I mean,
we
it could have
were
gone much better. It couldn't have gone much worse than it actually went. So,
Really?
We rolled really well.
Yeah, I rolled
worse.
worst.
I meant later on in the whole.
Oh, the rest of the game. Sure.
Actually, maybe it would have because you'd have just stayed there, wouldn't you? Yeah. Well, so what I was thinking was, so actually, those mushrooms, right? Obviously, the closest analog would be magic mushrooms, which
Psylocybin.
Magic. And so Bates, you.
Are magic mushrooms the only? Are they the only mushrooms that would? Well, I guess they're not the only mushrooms that would make you have a nice experience. They're just the only ones that are not awful as well.
That's a really good question. I mean,
I don't actually know if magic mushrooms are one particular fungus or whether it's like a family.
Someone looked that up.
I don't know that.
I know they feature psilocybin, but also is that the only active ingredient? I know that's the one that's used in studies and is the one that's.
So what's psilocybin?
So psilocybin is something that they think is the active ingredient within magic mushrooms that they think might have antidepressant properties.
Oh.
So there's recently been loads of studies where they look at its effects compared to like selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are like the standard antidepressant. And it showed, I think, hang on, I've got it open. I'm just going to check so I don't say wrong things. Yeah, it looks like 2 doses, but that's not important. It's at least as effective at reducing depression as a 6-week course of I can never say it. Escitalopram. Am I saying that right?
Citalopram.
Citalopram, but it says escitalopram. It's got an E on the front. That's how they do escitalopram.
Oh, escitalopram. I've never heard.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a selective serotonin.
Is it that if I take magic mushrooms, that psilocybin has cool effects, but could also be an antidepressant? Like, what is it actually doing in my head?
The amazing thing is, people can. It's when they take you can take it like twice, and it has the same kind of effect as taking like a 6-week course of these like actual medications, and it has the same effect. In like these are quite small scale trials. They're not huge at the moment. It's very, very fresh, but it's looking really promising. But people do trip, right? So it is you take it.
Oh, you would have the magic mushroom effect.
Yeah. So psilocybin is what gives you the trip, and so they do it in very like controlled settings where they put you in like a safe room. But imagine if you instead of taking drugs every day, you can go and have like 2 sessions in a controlled setting. And then that has the same effect as being on these antidepressants. And they think it can like have long-term, it can last like long-term. Like there's like very small studies that sort of suggest it can last for like up to 10 years.
It's crazy, that whole field. Like there's a drug called Iboga, which is a bit like that the one that they have in Peru, which is it's sort of linked to a whole ceremony. Ayahuasca, it's a bit like that, and it's a very potent hallucinogenic, and there's a lot of vomiting involved, and then the whole thing lasts for like 2 days or something, and there's a whole, basically it's illegal everywhere except in Holland, I think, but there's clinics in Holland that you can go to if you are an addict, and they will give you Iboga, and people swear by it. They say that they come out and they do it once, and then after 6 months they've not gone back to whatever they're addicted to.
But yes, we should also say, obviously, this is all just us talking about studies, and please do not use any of the things we're saying to go out and try and treat any kind of illness. Go to the doctor, please. This is just studies, and they're very small scale. So yeah. Separate
notes on a study thing. I made a video about the first controlled LSD study.
Wait, is this because LSD was invented in a lab and is not natural?
So LSD.
What's
yes,
LSD?
that's
right.
LSD,
It's not like where it comes from a plant or it comes from a drug. Like
I think that's right.
It is. It's a synthetic. It's synthetic. It was made by this guy Albert Hoffman in 1941, I think. And then there's a whole story about he made it in the lab, and basically there's loads of different ones. It was like chemical ones.
It was an accidental discovery. It wasn't what he was trying to do.
He wasn't trying. He wasn't just making a bunch of chemicals and trying them.
Yeah,
all, was he?
It's pharmacology, right? He was just making it. He had a load of chemicals and he had to try them all.
Do you?
No. He had to try them. He was supposed to try them for some sort of pharmacological, pharmaceutical effect.
Try them.
The story goes that he got someone's finger and the stuff goes through skin. So he cycled home, and there's this really funny description of him being like, and I had the most interesting experience. And then when I came, and there's this bit where he's like, and I was lying on my couch, and my landlady, who had the face of the most awful devil, came to me and asked me if I was all right, and I could not speak. And it's like, it goes like that for a while. And the funniest thing is, it's like, he sort of comes back the day after, and it's like, you know what, I'll try a lot less. So he tries like 1,000th.
They're just touching it.
That's still 100 times the dose that anyone ever takes. So he has the same thing happen to him. And then he's like, I found this incredible thing. And he goes to his supervisor like, Professor, I found this amazing thing. The supervisor takes it home, takes it. Has the same response. And comes back and is like, it's the most amazing thing. Anyway, so they go on to try and they spend like 6 years sort of publicizing it. Like, this is amazing. It could have all these amazing effects. And then it gets, basically it gets stigmatized, and then it gets outlawed in 1970. I think that's the way it goes. But anyway, it has all these potentially therapeutic effects. That's why they were trying it. And
it's so interesting.
Some downsides as well, right? No.
Well, one of the things with
perspective.
Sorry, Anna, you go. But like with psilocybin, one of the things about it is like it has like no physical toxicity in the body, and it's like ridiculously low level, like likely to cause addiction. So it's so safe, and there's a lot of like campaigning at the moment going on, but there's just not enough studies, and because they think it's all to do with like allowing your brain to like remodel itself. So when you take psilocybin, it like decreases the chatter in your brain, so areas stop talking to each other as much, and it particularly in like the prefrontal cortex and things, which is all like perception and cognition and things.
So
and they think that it might be that when you're in this state, your brain kind of just sort of almost resets itself, and
I
then
feel like if you have
again.
a mental health issue, that doing some quite extreme, like, let's reshuffle things, you don't know what's going to happen. Like,
but
well,
so actually,
to
I
add
think,
to
like,
that, they always have therapy as part of it. So it's always in the study that I've read anyway, it's the people that were on SSRIs, they were also having therapy at the same time, and then also the people who were on who had the psilocybin treatment also had therapy. But they think that taking the psilocybin makes your brain more susceptible to the therapy and being able to rewire your brain a little bit better.
So there's a thing about what I think in the study that I was looking at with the LSD, which they both, LSD and psilocybin work in the same way on the same receptor in the brain. So it's basically the same thing, just LSD is more powerful.
I did not know that.
What they were doing is they were measuring the connectivity between different areas of the brain using an MRI, right? So just how they sort of all talk to each other. And there's a measure of it which says how often do you just run through the same groove, right? Like, do you just always make the same connections and you're just always stuck in your groove?
Yeah.
And then, so on one level you're like, boom, I never go out of the groove. I always think the same way. And on the other side it's like total chaos. I never do the same thing twice in my brain. And what it does is it takes that dial and it pushes it away from I'm always in the same groove up to I basically can do various different connections. What's happening, Simon?
The fuck was that?
Apologies, podcast listeners. Simon's face just started flashing, and we're not quite sure why.
Oh, my friend Ed
The
raised it.
psilocybin.
Good grief.
It was like we all went on psilocybin for a little second there. And,
Yeah, Ed, thank you, Ed, for that Twitch raid, but good lord, that was a hell of a moment that you picked.
podcast listeners, if you would like to experience a Twitch raid in real life, why not come watch us live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on twitch.tv/Dr. Simon Clark.
Witness what we have witnessed.
I think that the footprints that I was talking about, by the way, are the Laetoli footprints. I've been trying to pin this down. It's a place in Tanzania.
Can you print it off and hold it up to your camera?
Yeah, I haven't
How
set
it's
up the
done.
system for this. Hang on, let me see. I have to get it up on my phone, and then listeners at home, you're going to have to use your imaginations here. Sorry,
Google it.
carry on.
But coming back, right? This is awesome. I just found this study while during this. So the psilocybin thing, right? The mushrooms that have psilocybin in them. The question is, like, why? Why would these mushrooms evolve to have a hallucinatory
Surely
chemical
it's
inside them?
coincidental that something that the mushroom finds useful happens to mess up our brains, right?
Well, so apparently the reason the mushrooms produce psilocybin is that it is they don't know, but they produce it because it has a psychoactive effect. But it has a psychoactive effect on ants, and what it does is it makes them less hungry.
Back to ants.
Less hungry.
Why does that
it-
help?
they're
Because
not
then
gonna
they don't
eat
eat
the
the
mushroom.
mushroom.
They don't eat the mushrooms. That's apparently that, according to this paper, that's why it evolved. And then it happens to have also a psychoactive effect on us. And who knows, the ants may be less hungry because they're tripping their friggin' nuts
yeah.
off. But like, yeah,
That's fascinating.
it's super cool.
All comes
isn't
back
it?
to the ants. Mushrooms and ants. What a
Mushrooms
pair.
and ants.
Yeah,
I thought that was so cool.
that's amazing.
But also, you
That's
can't
right.
overdose on. No, ignore that. It's very difficult to overdose on.
In controlled settings, it's very difficult. If in like social buying drugs, you don't know what's in them. This is not anything.
But the
We're not saying
LD
anything along that.
Yeah, I'm talking about pure chemical. But LD50, which is the amount of LD50 is the term to say how much drug would you have to give a population to kill 50% of them. That's LD50.
Oof.
So like the dosage you would have to
Yeah.
give, and the dosage of that for I don't know what it is for psilocybin, but for LSD, it's something like a million times
Oh, really?
what you would ever take. Yeah.
That's
You just
like
can't.
literally kill you. There's a lot of things that you can do while tripping that could
Yeah.
also kill you. because
Weirdly,
you're tripping,
elephants
right?
are very susceptible to it. Like, elephants die quite easily.
How did they find that out?
Yeah, I don't like that they know that.
They just left out in the savannah like just a load of LSD, and they were like, "Well, we'll just see what happens, I guess."
Oh god, in the 60s, it was probably in zoos. Like I feel like people like scientists in the 60s being like, we need to give this.
Well,
LSD
there are-
to
In
them."
1962,
Yeah.
Oh god.
this is it. Yeah. Hang on a
It's the
second.
Right,
60s.
I'm
60s.
remembering
Is this the
right?
Marines experiment that you're going to talk about? Because there is that
No, I
video
don't-
of
I
them
just
giving
Googled.
LSD to like servicemen and then just recording them and seeing how they reacted.
No,
And
in
also an
1962, scientists caused Tusco the elephant to overdose on LSD in an experiment gone wrong.
Oh,
Give an elephant
Tusker.
LSD.
To see what would happen.
Because I'm
Because they
197
thought
milligrams of LSD.
Well,
An
because they
enormous
thought-
dose, even for an elephant.
but they presumably up to the dose because they were like, well, it's an elephant, and they didn't
Yeah.
realize he'd be.
But it's an enormous dose even for an elephant.
Even for an
It's
elephant.
not like-
They were just like, yeah, just throw all the LSD at it. Like, it'll be fine.
But in terms of like the lethal dose, like I remember reading once that like the lethal dose of caffeine is actually not that high. It's like 50 double espressos or something. Like it's a
Yeah, don't do
attainable
that,
amount.
anyone.
How many like Pro Plus tablets is that?
Asking for a friend.
God.
Don't know.
Like,
Cass,
gonna-
there's no way. Sorry, Cass and Chat says, I mean, you can die by eating chocolate like a kilogram. A kilogram?
Yes.
I
So,
feel like I could eat a kilogram of chocolate.
Challenge accepted.
I'll see you next week for
Or
my
I
eating
won't,
chocolate
as a matter of
stream.
fact.
Yeah. Or
There is a lethal dose of water, I think. Like you can have water toxicity, can't you? Like there is technically
That's-
a lethal
well,
dose
that's
of
what's
water.
linked with
Ecstasy.
ecstasy
Yeah.
death.
Because it's normally not ecstasy. It's people on ecstasy getting really thirsty and not. I don't quite know what it is that ecstasy does. I can't quite remember. But they drink way too much water and they basically just
The
overdose on
neurotoxic effect
Then
of
what
ecstasy
happens-
is quite low, but
what happens when you drink too much water?
if you.
Uh,
I don't quite know what
I
actually happens. I just know it kills them.
Yeah.
Hang on. Talk
because
conscious
you
sounds like.
can't, I
Google
think
it.
it's because you can't excrete the water through your kidneys, so you basically start messing up with your blood pressure levels.
Pressure.
I think that's what the issue is.
It's not going out fast enough.
Young woman dies of water intoxication after taking one tablet of ecstasy. This is a scientific paper.
I'll just interject with this. Tusco, the prize of Oklahoma
Tusco.
City Zoo, was
Aw.
injected with 297 milligrams of LSD, an enormous dose even for an elephant, and more than 30 times what a 3-ton human might receive. Isn't that an amazing comparison?
What a 3-ton human would receive.
3-ton human.
What a brilliant
very
comparison by this
hypothetical.
scientist.
So I found a picture of the Lotoli footprints. I'm gonna
Oh, the
zoom in.
footprints.
So if I can. Oh, hello.
Oh, we're doing this!
Right.
This is the
little
digital
footprints
version of
in.
printing it out.
So basically, you can see, listeners at home, you'll be able to use your
Oh my
imaginations.
gosh.
There's a footprint here at the bottom, and
Yeah.
then within that footprint, those are
Oh,
like
is that
toe
what that
marks.
is?
Oh, I can see it.
just about see that.
There's
I
like
can
a
see
footprint with a smaller footprint inside it.
It's the little baby stepping in parents.
And oh, hello.
Oh.
We think it's about 3.7 million years old. So they're not even Homo sapiens; they are hominid, but not human.
Wow. No.
But this is something that is difficult to get much of a source on. I remember seeing this at the Natural History Museum in Vienna, and they had a replica, and it's on their website describing that. But there's not very many sources, so I don't know if this is perhaps controversial, and it's not necessarily the interpretation. I don't know. But I think that's adorable anyway. Hang on, please can we stay on feet, says Captain Breed in Twitch chat. Do not go back to the previous conversation.
I am just trying to work out how you die from water. Okay, so it's called water intoxication or water poisoning. It's a potentially fatal disturbance in brain functions that results when the normal balance of electrolytes in the body is pushed outside safe limits by excessive water intake. That is the top line of Wikipedia there for you. So yeah, it's very, very difficult to do. But basically, when you take ecstasy or like MDMA of any form, it offsets. I think it's antidiuretic hormone, which sort of tells you when you're thirsty and things. So you're just like, I'm really thirsty. I'm going to keep drinking water. And then you drink too much.
So don't do drugs, kids. Well, I mean,
Don't do drugs.
The definition of a drug is obviously quite fuzzy because, like, food is a drug.
Do some drugs.
Lots of things are drugs.
Well, everything we ingest.
Yes.
Do some drugs, I think, is as a statement I can get behind.
I mean, any chemical that we ingest and has a biological impact on us is a drug.
It's a drug.
Right?
No, it has to have a psychoactive impact. But yeah.
But
How
sugar is a
about-
drug.
You're right.
Do a lot of
Yeah, which
research.
one's a
Here's the mess. Here's the takeaway.
Okay.
Don't get your drugs information from us. If you're thinking of doing some exciting drugs, do your
Like
research
sugar.
properly and make sure sugar, chocolate, whatever it is,
Alcohol.
lovely white wine. Make
It's
sure.
rosé, actually, shall we?
Oh, lovely rosé. Have a lovely rosé, or don't before you fully researched the possible side effects, so that you can all be safe.
Remember,
Amon
Yeah,
Bilbao.
be safe. That's the key.
your auntie on Facebook is not a scientific source. Data that has been analysed by people who have been trained to do so is a legitimate source.
Yeah. And we also don't count as that. So
2016, I'm talking to you.
Take us back.
What's so difficult to harp on about it? But there's so little good scientific work done on drugs because they're illegal and incredibly difficult to obtain and do scientific work in controlled environments.
Really
It's a bit of a catch-22. It's like, are they dangerous? So dangerous that we can't know about them? It's a difficult one.
There's so many interesting studies on all kinds of different drugs, which I'm sure will come. I feel like it's the kind of thing that with spells and spells that affect people's brains, it's probably going to come up again in our campaign, I think.
So
Didn't you already do that to someone? Like
I
you
thought
did that, didn't
Infinity
you?
did something.
You injected
I
oxytocin
did.
to
Oh,
someone.
yeah, you're like, you're my friend now.
Yeah. Be my
Into
friend,
Spoey
please.
pads, no less.
Stowy pads.
Spoey pads. Yeah.
Pads. One of the reasons to bring it right back round to the cordyceps, Tenebris's spells are basically to do with brain manipulation, and cordyceps was one of the things that I was thinking about as to how to do that. But she'll have to wait and see until maybe
So
maybe
we
next
have that
time,
conversation.
maybe the next time after to find out.
We were really close to
Oh,
having that conversation, and then
close.
wolves.
To
Infinity
find
may
out
never
how
find
10
out.
spells works. Infinity may be dead. Ten will
Yeah.
be like, Uriel, would you like to learn about my magic? And you'll be
Hey,
like,
Uriel might be dead
I
too.
hate you. Oh, that's true.
I'm
Oh,
only
that's a nice
slightly
thought.
less, dead than Infinity at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's a reason to come and tune in next week, because you may be seeing the process of us commissioning new artwork in real time.
Yeah. In real time.
We could be in so much trouble. So I think we shall leave it there. But yes, please do join us. Again, if you have enjoyed the episode, please tweet at us or tell your friends about it, or leave us a
Yeah.
podcast review.
5 stars.
Leave us some comments on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever you like. Say hi. We're very
Engage.
friendly. Engage with us. And yeah, please come back for next week's episode. You can always catch up on everything that you've missed on our YouTube, youtube.com/RPGeeksDND. We're on pod.link/RPGeeksDND, I think. It's just basically a collection of all the various podcast platforms where our podcast version is. If you're watching on Twitch, you'll be glad to know that the podcast version has trimmed a lot of the
It
excess.
does.
It's all gold. I don't know what you're talking about.
And if you're listening on the podcast and you want to know what we cut
We
out
have
every
a
week,
lot of fun.
come
got-
find
We
the
do
Twitch.
have a lot of fun.
You've got a
Do
lot about
come-
Mothman that you're going to learn.
The thing is, there are people on the podcast who go, wait, you cut this down.
And
This
they're
is
going,
the good
Why
stuff.
didn't you cut this bit? Like, this bit could go, like.
No, this is staying. Hello, podcast listeners. This is especially for
Hi,
you.
hi, we love you.
Hi.
The good
I
version
love
is actually just Ali's sound effects, like a supercut
Yeah.
of all of them.
So good, so good. The frogs, the owls today, Ali on it as always, amazing. At one point, a shuttle going out overhead. Very.
Yeah.
I can't believe you
I don't know,
arranged
I mean,
that. That was amazing.
Right,
Really
that
summoned that. No, I made that
happened.
noise. That was all me.
Okay.
Yeah,
You need
that
to
was
change your diet, so that's.
So right, I'm gonna call it there. Thank you so much for joining us with an RP Geeks, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.